Love shock broken heart face screaming in fear. The city of Istanbul is buzzing like never before, and the reason is none other than Yaman and Demet Özdemir. Rumors of an explosive reunion between the two have sent fans into a frenzy, reigniting the most passionate love story Turkish television has ever given to the world. Could it really be true? Could Can and Demet, the golden pair who once stole the hearts of millions, be back together again? The whispers began when fans spotted them in the same district of Istanbul on the very same night. Paparazzi cameras flashed as Can stepped out of a luxury restaurant, his expression tense but unmistakably emotional. Just minutes later, Demet was seen leaving a nearby lounge, her eyes hidden behind sunglasses even though the night was dark. The timing was too perfect, the coincidences too strong. For fans, this wasn't chance. This was a sign. Social media erupted instantly. Hashtags like #CanandDemet, #LoveShock, and #IstanbulBuzzing shot to the top of Twitter trends. TikTok edits flooded the platform, pairing romantic clips of the two with captions like "Destiny brings them back" and "True love never dies." Instagram fan pages shared side-by-side photos of the two from that night, convinced they were part of a carefully planned but secret reunion. But it wasn't just fans who felt the energy, media outlets picked up on it too. One Turkish gossip site boldly declared, "The fire between Can and Demet is not over, it has only been waiting for the right moment to ignite again." Italian magazines, where Can has a massive following, ran with the headline, "Explosive reunion in Istanbul, Demet and Can together again?" The speculation wasn't without reason. For years, the bond between Can and Demet has been the subject of endless fascination. Their undeniable chemistry on screen and Erkenci Kuss blurred the lines between fiction and reality, and fans were never convinced that their connection ended when the camera stopped rolling. Even when both pursued separate careers, the question always lingered, what if they find their way back to each other? And now, with Istanbul buzzing about their reunion, it seems that question might finally have an answer. Witnesses claim the two spent hours together in a private setting after being seen in the same district. While no clear photos have surfaced, one insider whispered, they looked comfortable, like no time had passed. There were smiles, there were quiet conversations, and there was definitely something in their eyes. If true, this would mark one of the most dramatic comebacks in celebrity history. For fans, it's not just about a love story, it's about hope. Hope that despite fame, distance, and years apart, love can conquer all. As the buzz of Yaman and Demet Özdemir's rumored reunion spread through Istanbul, the city itself seemed to hold its breath. Coffee shops, beauty salons, and late-night talk shows couldn't stop talking about them. Everyone wanted to know, was this really happening? For fans, the thought of a reconciliation between Can and Demet is more than just celebrity gossip, it's the revival of a love story they've carried in their hearts for years. When the pair starred together in Erkenci Kuss, their chemistry was so powerful that it blurred the line between acting and reality. Even after the series ended, fans clung to the hope that what they saw on screen was rooted in something real. Now, years later, Istanbul is alive with whispers that destiny may have brought them back together. Social media platforms turned into battlegrounds of excitement, with one fan tweeting, "If Can and Demet are together again, it means love really does conquer all." Another added, "We've been waiting for this day for years." Istanbul is shaking. But not everyone was quick to celebrate. Critics pointed out that both Can and Demet have built separate careers and lives since their time together. Demet has starred in multiple successful dramas, while Can has conquered Italy and become an international name. For skeptics, the idea of rekindling their past seemed unrealistic, even risky. Sometimes reunions reopen wounds rather than heal them, one journalist wrote. Yet despite the skepticism, the evidence kept piling up. Paparazzi footage showed Can walking alone near the Bosphorus, his phone pressed to his ear, smiling faintly in a way fans hadn't seen in years. Hours later, Demet was photographed on the same street, laughing as she got into a car. Coincidence? Maybe. But for fans, it was undeniable proof that the two had spent time together privately before going their separate ways. The most explosive claim came from an insider who allegedly spoke to a close friend of Demet. According to the source, Demet has always said that some bonds never break, no matter how much time passes. Being with Can again felt natural, like returning to something familiar and safe. These words ignited a firestorm online. TikTok edits featuring old clips of the two stars racked up millions of views overnight, with captions like "Back where it all began" and "The love story continues." On Instagram, fan art of Can and Demet holding hands flooded timelines, with hashtags like #CanDemetReunion and #LoveShock dominating the conversation. Meanwhile, the press speculated about what this reunion could mean for their futures. Would this lead to new collaborations on screen? Or was this a purely personal rekindling of old flames? Italian media even suggested that a reunion between the two could catapult their global stardom to new heights, branding them once again as Turkey's most powerful couple. Still, silence reigned from both Can and Demet. Neither confirmed nor denied the rumors, leaving fans in a frenzy. And sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. The frenzy surrounding Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir's rumored reunion in Istanbul didn't die down. It only grew stronger with every passing day. Fans, journalists, and insiders alike were desperate for answers. What really happened that night? And what did it mean for the future of the most talked about pair in Turkish entertainment? One of the most shocking developments came when a well-known Istanbul paparazzo claimed he had captured footage of Can and Demet leaving the same luxury villa, just minutes apart. Although the images were grainy, they were enough to spark a social media wildfire. Fans immediately began piecing the story together. They were together, and they're hiding it from the world. Theories spread like wildfire. Some insisted that the pair were rekindling their romance in secret, while others argued it was nothing more than a casual reunion between old friends. But for the public, friendship wasn't enough. They wanted the love story back. They wanted the passion, the drama, and the fairy tale they had been denied when Can and Demet first went their separate ways. Entertainment talk shows jumped into the frenzy. One Turkish host boldly declared on live television, "This is not coincidence. When Can and Demet are seen in the same place, at the same time, it is a statement. The world is watching, and they know it." Italian outlets echoed the same sentiment, calling it the reunion that Istanbul can't stop talking about. Meanwhile, subtle clues only deepened the mystery. Demet posted a cryptic message on Instagram just days after the sighting, a black and white photo of the sea with the caption, "Some tides never fade, they always return." Fans immediately linked the post to Can, interpreting it as a poetic confirmation of their bond. Within hours, the post had over 1 million likes and thousands of comments like "She's talking about him," and "This is their destiny." Can, on the other hand, added fuel to the fire by sharing a photo of himself sitting quietly by the Bosphorus, his gaze lost in the horizon. The caption? Just one word: silence. That single post went viral, with fans convinced it was a direct response to Demet's message. The unspoken communication between the two stars fascinated everyone. It was as if they were speaking to each other through coded posts, sharing a story with millions of people without ever saying the words out loud. And in the silence, fans found meaning. One insider close to the couple revealed to a magazine, "For Can and Demet, it was never really over. The connection between them is something unique, something that time and distance can't erase." This reunion, if true, isn't just about the past, it's about unfinished business. The thought of unfinished business electrified fans around the globe. TikTok edits with the phrase, "Not over yet," began trending. YouTube fan channels uploaded compilations titled "Proof that Can and Demet are together again." Twitter trended with the #unfinishedlove. And through it all, Istanbul remained the heart of the storm. Restaurants, nightclubs, and hotels reported increased paparazzi presence, as everyone hoped to catch another glimpse of the rumored couple. The city that had once been the backdrop of their greatest love story now buzzed with anticipation, as if it was preparing for history to repeat itself. As the whispers of Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir's explosive reunion continued to dominate Istanbul, the rest of the world was now watching too. From Rome to Madrid, from London to Los Angeles, gossip columns couldn't get enough of the story. What began as a few blurry photos and cryptic social media posts had evolved into a global conversation about love, destiny, and second chances. The emotional weight of the rumor wasn't just about two celebrities, it was about what they represented. For millions of fans, Can and Demet weren't simply actors, they were symbols of passion, hope, and the idea that true love never really dies. And this rumored reunion in Istanbul became the ultimate proof of that belief. Journalists worked tirelessly to uncover more. One tabloid reported that the reunion wasn't accidental at all, that it was arranged. According to an insider, they had been in contact for months, and Istanbul was chosen as the place where they could finally talk, away from the cameras and the pressure of their international careers. It wasn't coincidence, it was destiny. If true, this revelation explained the undeniable tension and timing of their recent appearances. For fans, it was thrilling. The thought that Can and Demet had chosen to face each other again, intentionally, was more powerful than any script. But as the excitement built, so did the doubts. Skeptics argued that the timing was suspicious, pointing to Can's upcoming projects in Italy and Demet's new series in Turkey. Was the reunion real, or was it a publicity stunt designed to capture headlines? Critics on talk shows debated fiercely. It doesn't matter, one host concluded. Whether real or staged, the magic between them is undeniable. And perhaps that was the point. The truth of what happened behind closed doors may never be fully revealed. But what mattered to fans was how it made them feel. The story of Can and Demet's reunion had reignited emotions that had been buried for years. Clips from their iconic moments in Erkenci Kus flooded TikTok, layered with captions like "Back Where They Belong" and "This Is Forever." YouTube channels released full-length fan documentaries titled "The Reunion That Changed Everything." Twitter exploded with hashtags like #LoveShock, #CanandDemet, and #IstanbulOnFire. The digital world was united in one obsession: Can and Demet. Meanwhile, the stars themselves continued their silence. But sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. At a fashion event in Milan, Can was asked directly by a reporter, "What about Demet?" He paused, smiled faintly, and replied, "Some stories never end." That single sentence set the internet ablaze. Fans called it a confession, critics called it evasive, but everyone agreed, it was powerful. Demet, too, added her subtle touch. In a magazine interview, when asked about love, she simply said, "Some connections are timeless. They live with you, no matter where life takes you." For her fans, there was no doubt who she was speaking about. By now, Istanbul itself had become part of the legend. The city's streets, cafes, and waterfronts were alive with the energy of their story. Locals reported increased paparazzi presence, and even tourists sought out the places where Can and Demet had supposedly been seen. It was as if the entire city had transformed into the stage for their greatest drama yet. But what does this reunion really mean? For some, it's the promise of a rekindled romance. For others, it's simply closure for two people who once shared something extraordinary. Yet for millions of fans, it doesn't matter. What matters is that, even after all these years, the flame is still alive. The final truth may never be fully revealed, but one thing is certain: Yaman and Demet Özdemir have once again captured the hearts of millions. Whether they remain apart or choose to embrace their destiny, their reunion has already made history. And as Istanbul continues to buzz with anticipation, one phrase echoes louder than all the rumors, louder than all the speculation. Broken heart, true love never dies.